They thought we were settled into routine, predictable, no longer capable of surprise, so we showed them something unforgettable, and they couldn't look away. If you enjoy stories like this, please like and subscribe. It supports the channel more than you realize. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this one. Let's begin. It's truly exhausting, Mrs. Reynolds sighed, collapsing dramatically onto the sofa as if performing for an audience. She exhaled theatrically. Every evening like we're competing for some award. Mr. Reynolds smirked without glancing up from his wine. What can I say? Some of us still have that spark. Their laughter rang slightly too loud, slightly too pointed. This wasn't an intimate joke between them. It was a performance for us. Daniel sat beside me on the opposite couch, one ankle casually resting on his knee, a quiet presence. But I felt how still he became when she continued speaking. Mrs. Reynolds raised her glass slightly and grinned at us and the Millers. But hey, at least you two don't need to worry about that anymore, right? I tilted my head questioningly. She pressed on. I mean, you've put in your years. Now you can just relax and enjoy the quieter aspects of life. No need to keep up with all the sea. She made a vague gesture with her hand, smirking, nightly expectations. Mr. Reynolds chuckled softly and murmured, They've earned their rest, as if bestowing a compliment. Across from us, Mr. Miller glanced at his wife, then down at the floor. She offered a tight smile and shifted in her seat, her fingers barely brushing his knee, neither contradicted the assumption. If anything, they appeared to agree, as if they'd accepted this fate. But we hadn't. I slowly moved my hand across Daniel's thigh, settling against him as I set my glass aside. Actually, I said, my voice gentle but deliberate, we still do it almost every night. Mrs. Reynolds blinked. Mr. Reynolds stared, the smile gradually fading from his face. I turned to Daniel and ran my hand up his chest. This one's insatiable. Someone inhaled sharply. Daniel chuckled low in his throat, finally meeting Mr. Reynolds' gaze. We've been together 19 years, he said calmly, and I'd say the last 5 have been the most passionate. Mrs. Reynolds laughed, but it sounded hollow now. Wait, seriously? Every night? She looked me up and down, then glanced at Daniel. I mean, you still look amazing, but there's no way he's matching that energy. She smiled as if doing us a favor by pretending to believe it. I let the silence stretch. Then I smiled. You'd be surprised what he's capable of. Daniel leaned forward slightly, his voice steady. She makes it impossible not to keep up. Mr. Reynolds gave an awkward half-laugh. Yeah, well, I don't think I could believe it without seeing proof. I tilted my head. You really think I'm bluffing? He didn't answer, but he held my gaze. I allowed the silence to expand. Let the tension thicken just enough. Then I smiled. You know, I wasn't planning on putting on a display tonight. I moved in front of Daniel, smoothing my hand over his shoulder. But since you've challenged us so directly, I looked toward Mr. Reynolds. Don't say I didn't give you an opportunity to retract that statement. Daniel leaned back, arms stretched along the couch, completely at ease, as if he knew exactly where this was heading, as if he'd been anticipating it all evening. I turned toward him and ran my fingers slowly down his chest. The room grew still. Then I knelt before him. Mrs. Miller released a soft gasp. What are you doing? I didn't look away from Daniel. Proving a point, and I reached for his belt. I didn't speak, just reached in and wrapped my hand around him. He was already firm beneath my touch, steady, ready, waiting. I let my fingers rest there, unhurried and deliberate, giving them time to realize what they were witnessing. Then I glanced over my shoulder and smiled. No one moved. I lowered myself without hesitation. No teasing, no build-up, just purposeful motion and complete focus. Gasps, shifting, a breath caught somewhere behind me, but I continued. My lips grazed the surface. Soft, slow, teasing, then again, slower this time. My tongue followed, unhurried and purposeful, savouring the closeness. Daniel exhaled softly, the sound buried deep in his chest. He settled back into the couch, one hand resting against the armrest. The breathing in the room changed longer, slower, deeper. I let my hand and mouth move in harmony. Smooth, steady, unhurried. Every movement, every breath, every pause, I made them all count, as if I was creating something exclusively for him while allowing them all to witness. Daniel adjusted his position, subtle but unmistakable. That's when his hand descended, just fingertips initially, resting at the back of my head, not pushing, just present, anchoring me, guiding gently. And I followed. He directed the rhythm, and I matched it like a melody we both recalled. We moved together as if by muscle memory, as if performing something we'd perfected over the years. The room behind me had grown quiet, but remained occupied. I could sense their gazes, could feel how motionless they'd become, as if the air had ceased flowing. Still, I maintained my focus. Not for a moment did I break it. When I finally withdrew, I rose slowly and gracefully, not acknowledging anyone but him. I stood, unbuttoned my blouse, and let it fall to the floor, then my skirt, then everything else. I eased myself onto his lap, settling across him with practiced ease. Nothing between us now. His hands gripped my thighs firmly, grounded, prepared. I looked up, met every pair of eyes in the room. That was just the warm-up. And I settled, drawn closer by gravity and something far more primal. I moved above him rhythmically, measured and centered. My thighs wrapped around his hips, knees anchored into the cushions, hands planted firmly on his chest. Every motion was intentional, controlled, and weighted. Daniel's grip on my waist strengthened with each movement. His breathing deepened beneath me, but he didn't take control. He allowed me to move as I desired, trusting me to establish the pace. I leaned forward until my chest brushed his, my forehead resting momentarily against his. Then I arched back again, adjusting the angle, allowing more of my body to respond to his. He released a slow breath through his nose, quiet but heavy with tension. I continued. The room had fallen, still not empty, not silent, but suspended. Somewhere behind me, the couch creaked. A whispered, "Oh my God." Then another voice, sharper, disbelieving. "I can't believe they're actually doing this." I didn't stop. If anything, I moved with greater precision, bolder now, sharper at the edges. My spine curved as I let my head fall back, extending the motion with purpose. Daniel's hands glided along my sides, anchoring me with a heat that made my breath catch low in my chest. His body had tensed beneath me, focused, holding on. "You're incredible," he murmured. I didn't answer. I only shifted again, deeper, slower, more complete, letting him experience every sensation. Then he sat up, arms encircling my back. He pulled me close and kissed just behind my ear. "Come here," he whispered. I nodded. He rose with me in his arms, our connection unbroken, and stepped off the couch. He lowered to his knees and eased me down onto the rug, laying me out gently in the centre of the room. The carpet was warm against my back. I adjusted effortlessly, legs parting instinctively, open to him. That's when I saw them. Mrs. Miller on her knees, lips travelling down her husband's stomach. His hand rested softly in her hair. Miss Reynolds tense, legs crossed tightly, her expression unreadable but flushed. Mr. Reynolds leaning forward, elbows braced, eyes fixed and unmoving. I looked at them all and smiled. They doubted us. Now they couldn't look away. Daniel knelt between my legs, one palm pressing gently into my thigh, the other braced near my ribs. Our eyes met. Then he moved toward me again. He settled over me with his full weight, deliberate and complete. His body stretched across mine, chest against skin, warmth pressing through every point of contact. My legs wrapped around his waist, keeping him close, anchoring us to the rug beneath. The room vanished. Even the sounds blurred at the edges. All that remained was the rhythm between us, intense, deliberate, enveloping me in each movement as if we were breathing in unison. Every shift from him ignited something buried deep inside. One hand found my wrist, intertwining our fingers above my head. The other steadied against the side of my thigh, holding me in place with a quiet force that left no doubt. I arched into him instinctively, letting the motion carry us further. Air caught in my throat. His mouth hovered at my neck, not kissing, just exhaling, and every restrained tremor in him radiated through me. He was focused, grounded, completely present. Tilting my head, I caught just enough of the room to see Mrs. Miller had taken her place above her husband, moving with a wild abandon, her body rising and falling in time with his hands at her waist. They weren't just caught in the moment, they were consumed by it. And across from them, the Reynolds remained frozen, arms crossed tightly, lips pressed pale. Mrs. Reynolds didn't even blink. Her husband stared forward, knuckles locked between his knees. They looked like they'd forgotten how to breathe, the youngest couple in the room completely undone. I turned back to Daniel. His gaze never left me. That motion, that weight, that warmth, it was all still there, building towards something more intense. Without warning, his arms gathered beneath me, one under my shoulder, the other beneath my hips, and with a single seamless motion, he turned me. My hands grasped the rug, knees planted wide. The shift sent a jolt through my spine, heat rushing up my throat. He moved in behind me. Close. Certain. Unwavering. Don't hold back, I breathed. He didn't. Fingers closed around my hips, and the pace transformed entirely. No more patience, no restraint. Each motion came with purpose, steady, grounded, and relentless. The sound of our bodies meeting filled the room like distant thunder rolling across fabric. My arms strained to support me, elbows bent, palms flattened to stay grounded. Every part of me tensed, braced, opened again. A glance over my shoulder, and there she was, Mrs. Reynolds, her eyes locked to mine, mouth parted, frozen, not judging, just witnessing. I didn't blink, didn't look away. I wanted her to see. Then I turned forward again, letting everything else fade away. The tempo climbed higher, sharp and consuming, his hold firm. My lungs seized. My body tightened, stretched, and hovered right at the edge. Something inside surrendered. A sound escaped, half breath, half cry. I folded forward, trembling. the world around me illuminated with something hot and breathless and brilliant. For a moment, just long enough to catch one shallow breath, he paused, then moved again with even more force, more driven, more alive, and he didn't stop. Be honest, if you were in that room, watching, what would you have done? Would you have looked away or found yourself unable to? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. Thanks for watching.